Alright, so now we have our setup here. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so this is what it should look like. You can use that script to load your files. Alright, so if we load them into the stack like we had, you can do that way. Or if you want to do them one at a time, you would do File, Place, Embedded. Alright, and then, you know, kind of choose your pictures. Why is it not thumbnails? If your picture is coming out small like this, then you'd want to scale it to fit. Some people in the morning were making their size like the size of their like iPhone screen or something. I think it's going to look better if it's full screen. So I would really, you know, you're going to lose points. I mean, you'll not too many, but I would definitely recommend using it at this size so that it will fill the screen if we're looking on a TV or a computer monitor. Alright, so that would be one picture put in, and then we can create our timeline. Alright, from there, to change our duration, we're just going to click on the end of the kind of bar here, and as you're dragging, you should see how long it is. Alright, so this is frames, so I'm actually a little bit longer there. Alright, so you want to drag this along so that, as we're saying, it shows up to 3 seconds. Alright, and then what you might want to do is, instead of doing the load to stack, if you just place each one individually, then what you can do is just snap them to the previous one. Because right now I have the first layer was at 3 seconds, so if I bring this one in, then I don't really have to pay attention as much as to you know, what the timing is at the end, but that's kind of your preference there. So I would repeat that for all the pictures, and then we're going to put them on the same layer. Alright, so now we can see that we have these two in here. The first thing we'll talk about is transitions. So if we click on this box, you can choose any one of these. So a transition applies kind of like an animation, or you know, whether it's fading to black, it kind of blends the two pictures together. I know I put that on the definition. So the transition will make it so that the change or the cut from one picture to another isn't like abrupt. It's a little bit smoother. So I'm just going to drag this onto here. And you can see that you can drag it to just one of the clips, or if you put it in the middle is what you really should be doing to create a nice transition. It's going to apply that fade kind of so that it goes in between. So if I can look at that now, so see that this image is fading out and then this one's fading in. Alright, so if I was to go and take this off and just put in a transition just on one of them, alright, so it's going to fade this one out. I mean, I guess you could go and just apply it to this one again, and then it's going to fade that in, but it seems like, you know, why would you do that twice if you can just do it in one type of motion? Alright, so that's our transition. And then to apply our motion, we're going to click on the arrow here, and we're going to use, I like the pan and zoom. Alright, I thought that the angle made a difference, but it doesn't really appear like it does too much. But you can see that the image is being panned and zoomed. If you want to customize that, you'll see that it actually did make some keyframes in the transform aspect. Alright, so if I go in here, if I don't really like the way that Photoshop had transformed and scaled this, I can select this keyframe and then do a Control-T. Alright, and I could actually shrink this down, but then you get a white space on the edge. So you have to be kind of careful as far as recentering that. But you can manipulate these a little bit more and kind of customize that. Oh, I got rid of this keyframe. Alright, and I mean, if you really don't like the motion presets, you could obviously create your own, but I think that they're kind of a good start on these, so I'm going to leave that as my pan and zoom, and we have that there. Alright, So, oh, and this one kind of moved for some reason. So I'll rescale this. And then maybe on this one I'll do a zoom out, because I wouldn't want this to get any smaller. So if I do my pan and zoom, you do have an option here. So you can make it zoom in or zoom out. So this one, it's going to start larger and then get smaller. Alright, so that is duration, motion preset, and transition. And then the last part of this project would be, well, kind of the new thing is adding our audio, which will fade out. So if I go, I do have some stuff in the shared folder. You have to dig a little bit to find it. I have it in video production, stock footage, music, and Grand New Day. We'll use that one. Another thing that we haven't used on this animation panel is the scissor tool. So that's just another way, instead of going to the end and dragging over the end of the sound file, we can just move our playhead to that point and then click on the scissor, and it will trim that audio file into 2 pieces, which I can then now take that off. And to fade it out, all we're going to do is click on the arrow here and maybe fade it out a second. Since it's 3 seconds in total, if we did any more than that, then you're not really going to hear much of it. So let's see when we play this. Alright, so now our music is faded out. And I would maybe have that, actually I guess you could decide if you want that to fade out before or after the credits. Alright, so I would need 8 more pictures in here, you know, doing, kind of repeating that stuff more. And then just having our title and our credits, and this project would be kind of squared away there.